Most people don't quit because they're bad at their craft. They quit because they're watching someone else win faster. Whether you're an athlete, a business owner, a paintball player, or even a content creator, if you've ever compared yourself to someone and it's made you lose motivation, this video is going to hit deep. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode. If you're new here, my name is Shellda, and I've spent the last 4 years building one of the biggest brands in paintball. And in today's episode, I want to talk about something that doesn't actually get discussed enough, but quietly is destroying more creators, players, and athletes than failure ever will. It's sort of like secondhand smoke. You don't even know it's hurting you. And that something is comparison. Because here's the thing. Most people don't quit because they're bad. They quit because they're watching someone else win faster. And in the world where I create content in paintball, comparison is everything. You see, you scroll on Instagram and you see someone with a new mask, a rare headband, people engaging with their content, reposting, sharing, commenting. Or maybe you roll up to your field and you see teams with new sponsored jerseys and gear. And before you even realize it, you're not inspired anymore. You're actually starting to get discouraged, all because you're comparing yourself to other people. If we look at specifically in paintball media, comparison shows up in really specific ways. Who's shooting for which brands, who's on the pro field, whose content is getting accepted by the league for collabs, who gets to travel to more events than others, and who's actually in the room with the inside scoop. And if you're not careful, you start measuring your entire worth by proximity, not by your growth, not by your consistency, and not by the content you're actually grinding and putting out, but by how close you are to someone else's version of their success. Let's zoom out for a second. This isn't just a paintball problem. Like I had mentioned, this is a creator problem, an athlete problem, a business owner problem. And as you can see, the list goes on. And honestly, it's actually a human problem because comparison doesn't usually show up loudly. It shows up real quietly as self-doubt, as self-sabotage, as second-guessing the motivation you had in the first place. It's honestly a silent killer if you think about it, because you start to lose motivation and momentum before you even get going. You start asking yourself things like, am I behind? Why them? Not me. What am I doing wrong here? And then the one that I personally struggle with the most, am I an imposter? All of these questions creep up even when you're doing everything that you should be. I want to go a little bit deeper, and on a personal note, I have felt this more often than I'd like to admit. There have been moments where I've looked at my own progress and thought, I should feel proud of this, but instead, I feel frustrated where I start to see my engagement plummet. Not because I wasn't growing, but because someone else's photo was probably getting more traction than mine. And comparison has a way of making progress feel invisible. It makes really big wins feel really small. It makes those big milestones that you achieved feel temporary. And it honestly makes you forget how far you've actually come in your journey. Let's talk about the real damage though. And this is the dangerous part. Comparison doesn't just make you unhappy. It slowly starts to change you. It's kind of like an invisible habit forming without you even knowing it. You start to change your style, your voice, your approach, not because something's wrong, but because someone else is getting rewarded for something different. And without even realizing it, you drift away from the thing that made your work so special in the first place. That's how comparison kills motivation. For players, for creators, athletes, entrepreneurs. It's not instantly, but it's quietly. Something I've had to remind myself of this is you're not competing with other people in your field. You're competing with the version of yourself that quits. Someone else's success doesn't delay yours. It just shows you what's possible. And most of the time, you're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. Like, think about it for a minute. When you see someone on Instagram or YouTube, you're seeing the most polished version of their life with all of these amazing edits, these touch-ups, while you're honestly probably watching from your couch or your bed or at work. It's not really a fair fight. Let's look at this, for example. I'm using a really nice camera. I've got this beautiful light. The lighting is nice. So it's a really nice setup. It looks really professional. So it's not fair to compare yourself to what this looks like right now. There is one thing that's helped me, and I want to share that with you. It's redefining what winning actually means. Before that, though, we need to actually understand the flip side of that, what winning is not. Winning is not getting on the pro field if you're a photographer. Winning isn't repost likes or shares if you're a creator. Winning isn't validation if you're literally anybody. What winning is, though, it's consistency when no one else is clapping. It's showing up when motivation fades. It's building something that you are proud of, even if it grows slowly. Because slow growth that you own, it beats fast growth that costs you yourself. That's something that we hear over and over again from literally the most successful people in the world. They say consistency is what matters the most. So if you're a creator, an athlete, a paintball player, a photographer, a videographer, or somebody else who's just building literally anything right now to better your life, I want you to hear this. You're not behind, you're not failing, you're not invisible, you're just early, and comparing yourself to others is only going to slow you down. So if this episode resonated with you, let me know in the comments below. I genuinely love to hear how comparison has shown up for you in your journey. And if you've overcome it, if you're currently fighting it, I want to know. All right, I'll see you in the next one.